The biggest mistake I see most runners make is messing up their race week strategy. You've put in countless hours of hard work during your training block. Now you don't want to mess it all up on race week. This weekend, I'm running the Boston Half Marathon, hoping to run a new personal best of 118 or faster. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I prep for race week. I'm going to go over what I call the 4 pillars of race week, which includes carb loading, recovery, gear, and race day strategy. Let's dive into it.
Get ready to go.
It is officially race week for the Boston Half Marathon, and we have our final taper speed workout today. The whole goal of the taper week for a half marathon or marathon is to just stay sharp. We want to keep our nervous system active. We want to keep our mind and our body, everything in tune, while also letting our bodies rest and recover. So what I like to do is drop my volume, but keep the intensity of everything. So what we're doing today is super short 5-mile workout. We have 2-mile easy warm-up, and then we have 2 miles at our goal half marathon pace, which is gonna be about 5:45 per mile, and then just a 1-mile easy cool down. So 5 miles all the way through. Should be pretty short and easy. We'll just let her rip. I'm excited to absolutely send it this Sunday. By the time you guys watch this video, I think I'll have already run the race. So hopefully we got the result we wanted. Anything faster than a 119 will be a new personal best, so I'll take that. Let's do this workout. And that's all I got to say. 2-mile easy warm-up done, and we got 2 miles at half marathon pace. I also love to use this workout to test out race day shoes. I've got the Puma Fast R3s on. They're bouncing, feel good. Two miles at half marathon pace. Average 5:44 per mile. Honestly, felt really good. It's chilly this morning. It's like 50 degrees. It's way colder than it has been. So, body just felt really good. Honestly, my legs felt like almost a little numb for something cold. But easy to run fast. When it's cold, conditions are good. I think it's gonna be that same way in Boston this weekend. So, taper speed workout is done. We'll see y'all back at home for some more race week tips.
There's the steam.
We're steaming out here. Cold plus hot workout and humid. I think that equals steam.
Science.
Science. Pillar number 1 is carb loading and sodium loading. During a half marathon, our bodies use a ton of energy, mostly in the form of carbohydrates. Because of this, we want to make sure that we're properly carb loaded going into the race. For a half marathon, I recommend a 1 to 2 day carb load. I recommend doing 3 to 4 grams of carbs per pound of body weight. So for me right now, I weigh about 170 pounds, so I'm going to be eating anywhere from 500 to 700 grams of carbs per day for those 1 to 2 days. I know it sounds like a ton of carbs, and it is, but that's really what it takes to get our carbohydrate stores built up in our bodies. To do this, I recommend eating easy to digest carbs like fruit juice, gels, honey, maple syrup, sourdough bread, sweet potatoes, pasta, rice, oatmeal, or anything else like that. You really just want to be conscious of not eating too many fats because you're just wasting calories, making yourself feel full without getting what you actually need. And you still want to ensure that you're eating an adequate amount of protein. When it comes to hydration and sodium loading, I also recommend a 1 to 2 day sodium load where you can eat your regular amount of sodium that you consume on just a regular basis, but also upping your intake by about 14 milligrams per pound of body weight. So for me personally, I normally have about 2,000 to 3,000 milligrams of sodium per day. So I'm gonna up that by another 2,000 milligrams. Again, just making sure that our sodium stores are totally topped up before going into the race. By sodium loading, we can actually increase our blood volume, which gives our muscles more blood to work with. We can also help our body regulate our core temperature a little bit more and even decrease increase our core temperature, which is gonna help us push harder for longer. Also, sodium loading helps to prevent cramping and bonking, helps your nervous system, helps your muscle contractions. So many benefits of sodium loading. An essential part of race week is making sure that you're also getting in an adequate amount of protein. Protein is essential for making sure that your muscles are recovered going into your race. And for that reason, I drink bone broth literally every single day. I personally use Kettle and Fire. They have beef bone broth, also chicken bone broth. These are just the like classic flavors. They have a ton of really good flavors, but 1 mug of this every day after my run, and this whole package is 19 grams of collagen protein. Collagen protein especially is so good for runners because it helps to strengthen and repair your connective tissue and your joints as well as your muscles. It also tastes so good. I just add a little bit of salt, sometimes a little bit of butter just for some extra flavor, but it's good, it's healthy, also incredible for your gut health. So I've got a 20% code right here. You can scan that QR code or click the link down in the description. Save 20% on Kettle and Fire beef or chicken bone broth. All right, back to the video. Pillar number 2 is recovery. Like I mentioned before, doing our speed workout this morning, the whole point of the taper is to let our body show up on race day feeling fresh, recovered, and excited to run. And a part of that is doing a proper taper and recovery. However, you don't want to be stagnant or sedentary leading up to your race. You want to stay moving and active, just decreasing your volume of everything a little bit. For race week mileage, I like to do about 60 to 70% of my peak week mileage leading up to the race. I also like to keep strides in my routine after my easy runs just to help the leg turnover and keep the nervous system active. And like you saw from our speed workout this morning, I'm still doing fast paces, but really nothing much faster than half marathon pace. This just helps us to stay sharp, keep the nervous system active, and keep the legs bouncy and ready to run on race day. It's gonna feel like you might be losing some fitness because you're training for less time, but I promise it takes a lot longer than a few days to lose fitness. So you're just giving your body a chance to recover and show up fresh for your race. I also love to work in extra activities like foam rolling, massage gun. I do a ton of walking. I also hop on my bike a little bit more and just do some easy spin outs. I'll do a little bit more skiing, rowing, any form of low impact zone 2 cardio that's just gonna help get the body and the blood flowing. And the last key point of recovery and tapering is sleep. Sleep is a superpower when it comes to athletic performance. If possible, I would recommend not setting an alarm during race week and just letting your body wake up naturally, making sure that you get as much sleep as you possibly can. For most people, that's anywhere from 7 to 9 hours a night, and just try and do your best to sleep as much as you possibly can during race week. And also remember that it's not the night of sleep before your race that actually matters. You're usually antsy, you're nervous. That night of sleep is never very high quality, and that's okay. It's really what you're doing the week leading up to the race that matters the most. Pillar number 3 is gear. Now, hopefully you've been training and practicing with your gear throughout your entire prep, but when we get to race week, I love to make sure I have all of my ducks in a row, all my gear is ready, I've got my gels ordered, I've got any extra stuff that I might need on race day already prepared ahead of time. I'm not gonna go over all my gear in this video, but I will show you a few of the key pieces that I'll be using for my half marathon this weekend. First up, we've got the shoes. For this weekend's half marathon, I'm gonna be wearing the Puma Fast R3. Puma is not a sponsor. They have sponsored the channel before in the past, but they're not paying me to say this. I just genuinely love these shoes so much. They helped me run a new personal best of 2:40 at the Chicago Marathon just a few weeks ago. I also ran sub 3 in these at the Berlin Marathon about a month ago. So I love these shoes. They're so light, they're so fast, very bouncy, and I really think they're one of the best marathon and half marathon shoes on the market. There's also some independent studies that have been conducted showing that these shoes are about 2 to 4% faster and more efficient than the next top marathon road shoe. So not only anecdotally are they fast, but there's a lot of hard science and data out there to back it up. So those are the shoes for this weekend. For my watch, I'm gonna be using the Coros Pace Pro. This is probably my favorite running watch that I've ever used. I really like it. It's lightweight, simple to use. GPS, heart rate, all that stuff is very accurate. And I'm testing this out for the first time during a race, is the Coros Pod. Again, Coros, not a sponsor or anything. I just love their stuff. But the Pod, basically you clip this little piece into your shoe And then it helps to get more accurate GPS and distance, pace tracking, all that stuff. And I learned this lesson in Chicago at the marathon a few weeks ago because there's so many buildings, the GPS got way off. My pace and everything was off quite a bit from my course time. So a lot of people recommended to get the pod. So hopefully we get a little bit more accurate GPS tracking, hopefully help pace better during the race too. For fueling on race morning and during the race, I'm gonna get into those exact numbers here in the next pillar, but figured I'd put this in with the gear. I've been using this X Endurance Fuel 5 Plus. This has caffeine in it. I'm gonna do about 200 to 300 milligrams of caffeine before the race. I did that during Chicago and the caffeine boost helped so much on race day. I just never felt any kind of mental fatigue or mental tiredness. So gonna definitely be using caffeine. One serving of this is 32 grams of carbs. So I'll probably do 2 servings of this before the race on race morning for about 60 grams of carbs. Switchback Electrolytes, best electrolyte company on planet Earth. My company, founder, co-owner. The whole reason we made Switchback is because most electrolytes out there are not dosed very well and they don't taste very good. So we have solved that problem. Every serving of Switchback has 1,000 milligrams of sodium. That's way more sodium, way more actual electrolytes than most electrolyte products have out there, which is crazy that most of them don't even have that many electrolytes. And we managed to make ours taste incredible. This is the tropical mango flavor. We have a total of 4 flavors. This is probably my personal favorite. I'm gonna be doing 2 scoops of this in the morning before the race for 2,000 milligrams of sodium. And then I'll also be using this to sodium load in the days leading up to the race. And then 2 before, this is a product I've been using for years. This is blackcurrant berry powder from New Zealand. Basically, it's loaded with this very scientific compound that allows your blood vessels to dilate, which gets more blood into your working muscles. Basically, it just allows you to run faster for longer, a performance boost. I use it before all my speed workouts, all my long runs, all my races. This is an incredible product. And for gels, I'm gonna be using the X Endurance gels. Again, they're not paying me to say any of this. I've been testing them and I really, really like them. They're very similar to the Never Second or the SIS gels, if you've ever tried those. But it's a big gel for sure, so it's kind of heavy and like clunky to run with. But it's very liquidy, which makes it very easy to consume during a race. It kind of feels like you're just taking a drink of water, but you're also getting 28 grams of carbs in that bad boy. So that's the fuel. That's all the gear for the half marathon this weekend. This brings us to pillar number 4, maybe the most important pillar out of everything, and that is race day strategy. So hopefully you've done all of your prep and training during race week. You have all your ducks in a row. Now it is race morning. It's time to go. What are we doing? For me, I like to be up at least 2 hours before the race so I can go to the bathroom a few times. Also want to give myself enough time to consume all my fuel, go to the bathroom again, and then transport to the race however far or however long that might take. Then about 20 minutes before the race starts, I'll do my race warm-up routine, which is usually about a 5-minute jog. Sometimes you kind of just have to do that in place. And then I'll do a few dynamic movements like high knees, butt kickers, karaoke. Then if I have enough space, I'll throw in a couple of 15 to 20 second strides just to get the legs turned over. And I think it also helps kind of get the jitters out of the system so we don't go too fast during the race. When it comes to pacing strategy, this is one of the most important elements of any race. Obviously, every half marathon has a different course. Some are flat, some are downhill, some are rolling hills. So understanding your course beforehand is going to be very, very crucial. Most half marathons have their elevation map somewhere on the internet. So I highly recommend finding it, studying it, understanding where the up and down hills are, if any, and making your pacing strategy based off of that. We can think of the half marathon just in terms of effort. So we want to chunk up the race into 3 distinct segments that we can use to manage our effort. You have to remember this is a long race. We're not doing a 100-meter dash where you go out 100% effort the entire time. You have to pace yourself, which means the first 3 miles are gonna feel painfully slow, and that's okay. And it's okay if your first 3 miles are even a few seconds per mile or per kilometer slower than your goal pace. We're giving our bodies a chance to warm up, get into the race, and really settle in at our goal pace. Then from mile 3 to 10, or from 5K to 15K, that's when we're gonna lock in and kind of just set cruise control on our goal half marathon pace. This is where you can just kind of turn your brain off, occasionally glance at your watch, make sure that you're running your pace, and just get to mile 10 or 15K. Now, the real race starts at mile 10. Everybody says that the half marathon is actually just a 5K with a 10-mile warm-up, and that is very true. So when you get to the 10-mile mark, be prepared for it to get hard. But that's when we want to slowly start increasing our effort. We're only 3 miles, 5K away from the finish. We want to maybe bump our effort up just a little bit, 1 second, 2 seconds a mile, just to push a little bit more. And then around mile 12 or 13, that's when we're going to want to push, give it our absolute all, empty the tank, and cross the finish line, giving it everything that we had. Another key component of race day strategy is fueling. So intra-race fueling is essential. Whether you're running a 59-minute half marathon or you're running a 2-hour half marathon, you have to fuel during the race. Again, thinking back to what I said earlier about carb stores, our carb stores are limited. You're gonna burn through those by the time you get to the finish line, so we have to replenish that during the race. And we can do that with gels, or if you prefer liquid calories, you can carry a bottle and do that too. For me, I just like to carry a gel because it's super easy and simple way to fuel. Regardless of your time or pace that you're running, take a gel every 30 minutes. And the more strict you are with this schedule early in the race, the more you can kind of deviate towards the end of the race if your stomach isn't feeling quite right. But fuel early and fuel often. Remember that motto. And then when it comes to water, usually you can get away without carrying a handheld bottle for a half marathon, but that is one option, or you can just grab water as needed from the water stations. And the last part of race day strategy is your mindset. For me, the week before a big race, I like to journal and kind of meditate on what that race is gonna look like. Sometimes I will just sit in a chair, close my eyes, and visualize what the race day is going to look like from start all the way to the finish, mile by mile, thinking through every single detail that I can think of. It might sound a little woo-woo or like manifestation, whatever you want to call it, but it works for me, and I think there's something to it. I also like to just write down and think about my why. Why am I running this race? And what am I going to tell myself when it inevitably gets difficult? There's going to come a point, probably around mile 10, where I'm going to start asking myself, why am I doing this? Why did I sign up for this race? Why am I pushing my body to its limits? Why am I pushing my mind to its limits? You got to have an answer for those questions. Sometimes you don't have an answer until you're in that moment, but I think it's at least worth thinking about beforehand and just having that question in your head, because that way, when you get to that point in the race, you're not surprised. You expected this to come. You knew that you were going to be questioning why you're doing this. So again, you don't always have to have an answer, but I think it's at least worth thinking about beforehand. And last but certainly not least is remember to have fun out there. Running is supposed to be fun. We are pushing our bodies, we're pushing our minds, we're doing it with a great community of people, and it's a privilege to be able to move our bodies like we do. So go out there, have fun, and crush your next half marathon. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you can take some piece of information out of this video, apply it to your next half marathon or marathon that you've got coming up, and hopefully go get yourself a PR. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and if you enjoyed this video, share it with somebody else who you think might also enjoy it or get something out of it. Love you guys. We'll see you in the next video.